What's up, guys, and welcome back to the doctor's office. I am Dr. K. Ray Knight, here to give you proper diagnosis and prognosis and everything comics and comic book characters. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I don't know if serial killer books, like if I'm actively looking for serial killer books, or if serial killer books are actively looking for me. But I found another one. Another one has come across my midst. So this one is from Mad Cave. I told you guys, I tell you guys a lot. Mad Cave is competing. Okay? I love how they don't just do superhero comic books. I love that so much. I love like the fact that you can get your superhero comic books mainly from Marvel and DC and Valiant, but you know, shit like Mad Cave gives you literally anything else under the sun. Mad Cave, Dynamite, shit like that, you know? So this book is called The Slasher's Apprentice. You know, sure. So essentially it starts with this girl. Her name is Riley. She has a horror podcast basically talking about serial killers, and she is on one night doing an episode where she's talking about the murder of a family in like this quiet suburban place. And what's really interesting about this is she's telling the story, and it's essentially like the story of her life, but she's telling it as like from a different perspective, like first person. So she's basically like, oh, I totally found this one for you guys, and it starts in this quiet suburban home, and then she starts giving like suggestions, like you're never supposed to go check out noises on your own, and we see that the man of the house has gone downstairs because he heard a noise. While he is investigating said noise, he stops to get something to drink out of the fridge, which is another error, because at that point you are letting your guard down if you did hear a noise, because now you're not looking behind you, you're not looking like in your peripheral. He's literally pouring himself something to drink. So he gets himself something to drink, and as he has the cup up to his lips, he feels something, and there is a knife in the back of his head that comes through his mouth. It is insane. But then she keeps talking about like things that you shouldn't do as a serial killer or even as a victim. So now that you have that man go downstairs and make a bunch of noise, you now have the wife also coming downstairs to investigate noise alone. And as she's coming down the stairs, she's distracted by the fact that she's looking for her husband, and she doesn't see on the side of her banister that there is a man standing there, and he slits her ankle. Ow. She falls down the steps, and he puts that knife in the back of her neck. Now, the main thing she says is that you should not freeze. Victims are not the only ones who make mistakes here. You should always clean up your mess. You know, cleaning up your mess goes a long way, right? Not checking for survivors is a bad thing, right? So, the child there is hiding in the closet, and then comes downstairs, sees the brutality on the mother, doesn't even go into the kitchen, and goes back upstairs and sits on her bed. And then it just evolves into Riley as she is now. If that's not a creative way to trauma dump, I don't really know what is. So she then gets in, like she packs a bag, gets in her van, and she's driving, and she's listening to, it feels like she's listening to a podcast called Knife Life, of course. And they're talking about the Hopton Valley Killer. Hopton Valley Killer wears a lion mask, uses any weapon available, pretty much leaves a mess, and has never been caught. And so she goes up to this cabin. She goes into the cabin, and she sets up like things in the cabin. and she goes to like her little remote area and she's watching, and what she set up was a bunch of fucking cameras. So there are some teenagers who, or some young adults, whatever, who come in and they're about to like party in this cabin, and two of them go to the back because, you know, the guy wants to have sex, but the girl is just like, oh, I'm not that kind of girl, I just do the hand stuff. All right, because why you go back there? Be serious. So as they're talking, the Hofton Valley Killer in his creepy lion mask is just standing there with one of the the fireplace pokers and just stabs the guy through the eye, kills the girl, and then proceeds to go out and kill the rest of the teenager, breaking somebody's leg. I'm pretty sure he tore one of the guy's legs off. I think his name is Chad. Brutality. And my girl's sitting there in her little truck eating chips, enjoying the show. So after he does all of that, she goes in and she cleans it up. She gets her footage, gets her camera. She goes in there and cleans it up. And then she's like literally following like these clues. Like, he doesn't operate outside of a certain area. There's not too many places that he can go, and there's only he can only go so far. So she narrows it down to this building, and she goes and she sees a guy, and she like starts following him. And she sees him go into this like decrepit old building. She climbs in through the window as he's putting the lion mask on. So after he puts the lion mask on and turns around, she's like, you know, I've been looking all over for you. I finally caught up to you. And she has a knife in her hand, okay? And she's like, I finally caught up to you. And she like holds the knife out, bows down, and is like, would you please take me on as your apprentice? Ma'am, what? And honestly, I was just like, are you okay? But it's like, she's not. Very clearly she's mentally unwell at this point because of what happened to her when she was little. And I'm going off the fact that seems like it was her story. The girl in the story looks exactly like her, same sullen expression. The only difference was the change in rooms. Like, the hairstyle is still the same and everything, still got the bangs. So nothing's really changed about the person in the story being told and the person who is here telling the story. So I would say that she's probably not well mentally. Especially if you know that, like, this guy's a serial killer, and, you know, the first thing you do is set up some kills for him so that you can record it, clean up after him, and then ask him to be, like, if you can be his apprentice. Are you okay? Yeah. I found that this was very interesting. I'm very interested to see how the story is going to go. I'm going to go ahead and say that he's totally like, yeah, you can be my apprentice. And she's going to go absolutely fucking berserk and just be killing people, probably just pissed her off at some point. I don't know. But she's really there because she wants him to get his notoriety back, because at this point he's just a legend. So, like, you know how, like, sometimes, you know, a legend can turn to myth, essentially. So, and it's the fact that he's never been caught. So it's like, I can help you become more famous than you previously were. I can help you make your comeback, is essentially what she's saying. And also getting in some digs to kill people. So, you know, the artwork is very interesting. I think that's the thing for me lately, is different artwork, because some artwork is very, very jarring. This one, the blood, gore, and violence are right there. The slice on the ankle, felt it myself. So I think I'm going to enjoy this one. I think this is going to be a really fun series. Again, Mad Cave, fucking hats off to you guys, honestly. But that is it for this episode of The Doctor's Office. If you have not heard Ghastly Gospels, please check it out. If you have not gotten the book, get the book. And I will see you guys at your next checkup.